welcome to or welcome back to Total Spotfest. This is JJ Brownlee. That is Jamie Faulkner. We're coming back at you. A brand new, cold new year. Maybe it's cold where you're at. Maybe it's actually warm where you're at. You know, if you're in the, Florida. I don't know. But welcome. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We are back with all sorts of new things. This is the kickoff of Holy Shit Busy Wrestling Month.
Yeah. Yes. Very, very busy. Very, very quick.
Lots of stuff.
We're not even going to cover one thing because we don't give a shit about it. Day one.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, Big E got fucked, right? Okay, cool. There you go. But
shocker. Didn't see that coming.
Seriously, I did see a funny meme online, though. For those of you not aware, Big E, dropped his belt to Brock Lesnar at this day one pay-per-view, which was starkly, undersold from what I've read. Yeah. It started off as like a one-on-one, and then it became a three-way, then it became a four-way, and then it ended up being like a five-man fatal five-way.
Yeah.
Whatever. So that's our WWE coverage. Thank you for coming. But we got a ton of stuff to go over. Last night was the first Dynamite on TBS, crowned the inaugural TBS Women's Champion. Was it Jade? Was it Ruby Soho? Hey, Ruby, we shall find out. There were some titles on the line. We had a rematch with Danielson and Page. That was just one show. There was also a killer, and I mean that sincerely, a killer Rampage last week. Wrestle Kingdom just wrapped up earlier this week. We're getting ready for this weekend, the big Impact pay-per-view, Hard to Kill. Holy shit, let's get to it. So, if you are watching, we do appreciate you. Give us a comment down below to join the conversation. Hit the like button while you're down there. It does help us out quite a bit. Also, feel free to subscribe, share this with your friends, pass the word along. And if you are listening to us, you want to get in the conversation, that is going to be on Twitter at Total Spotfest. Whew. Man, I'm already tired. Yeah. We haven't even dug into all these things.
Oh, man. There's a lot of happening in the world of wrestling. That's all I know. And the world everywhere. Rest in peace, Betty White. I want to get that out there in the universe.
100%.
The baddest bitch on the block.
What was she? 17 days away from 100, I think is what it was.
Mm-hmm. But, including leap years, she hit it. So we're calling it. I'm calling it. She's 100.
We'll go. We're good. No, but another true legend, it's funny because I remember I was at New Year's I was at my buddy's house, just a few of us hanging out for New Year's, right? And it's like, 2021 was like, oh, I'm not done with you yet. Let's finish with the bang. John Madden, dead. Betty White, dead. It's like, really? So
yeah, you know what else is dead? NXT.
NXT is officially NXT, the Black and Gold brand. Let's put it that way. Officially dead. So
fucking dead.
And they capped it off yesterday. So Tuesday night was their New Year's Evil thing. They had unification match between the North American and the Cruiserweight title for some reason, which. Sure. Apparently, they're going. Yeah. The new strap is just going to be called the North American Cruiserweight Champion. And I'm like, that's unnecessary. Why? Just get rid of the Cruiserweight belt and have the North American title. Whatever, right?
So you're saying a big guy can't win it now?
I have no idea. What these rules are anymore because, Roderick Strong was anyway, Roderick Strong dropped it in the unification. Carmelo Hayes won. Mandy Rose defended her belt in a triple threat. You had MSK and Riddle beat Imperium with Walter returning. AJ Styles and Grayson Waller got pushed back to next week's NXT for a reason, apparently. I don't know. Who cares? I think that
COVID.
Whatever. I don't like this Grayson Waller shtick at all, and I've only seen bits of it through memes online, and I don't like it at all.
And some people are like, he's such a great heel, and I'm like,
is he though?
Hard pass. He's decent. Like, I watch it, I'm like, okay, I get it, but whatever. Like,
it's a tall guy trying to be TJP. Literally, he stole TJP's finishing move. And he's wearing what looks like basketball shorts, Jordans, and knock off AJ Styles gloves. It's like, whatever. If that's your stick, we apparently don't know because Vince and Bruce know best. But the night capped off with Braun Breaker defeating Tommaso Ciampa via the Steiner Recliner to win the NXT title.
I did see that, yeah.
And he entered the ring, Braun Breaker did, busting through a big foam gold X in the style of the old NXT pre-2.0 logo. There's going to be a new belt coming either this week or next, I'm sure of it. Tommaso Ciampa posted a picture that looked like a farewell picture online. I don't know. But yeah, NXT as we know it's dead. And just to put the nail in that coffin, William Regal was one of the people, kind of behind the scenes people, who got given their walking papers yesterday as well. So long, NXT.
We will never, ever, ever get to hear War Games from him ever again. The best deliverer of that words, gone.
I would think it'd be funny. If it doesn't necessarily have to sign him, maybe as backstage, kind of talent relations, sort of maybe in the world. But I think it'd be funny if Tony Khan brought him in next time there's a Blood and Guts game, just to come out on the ramp and go, Blood and Guts.
Yeah. So funny thing. So you were talking about William Regal there about going to AEW, and of course, Mark Stradamus was going nuts with this. And I think he would fit perfectly there to run the women's division because he is the one who single-handedly built the women's division of NXT to what it is.
And
I mean, obviously the talent. Yeah, and NXT UK. The talent did the work because they had amazing talent in both those. I'm not knocking that, but he was the one who built it and cultivated it and grew those women to what they are today, and
he also recruited most of them in.
He recruited 90% of them. If it wasn't for him, Io Shirai would not be here today.
I think that so often we get caught up in the Braun Strowmans or Adam Shears, William Rotundas, Malakai Black, Andrade, Keith Lee, deservedly so, right? But sometimes the most important hires are the people, like I don't think people give enough credit for what Jerry Lynn does for AEW. And so on and so forth, right? Bringing in people like Paul White and Christian Cage and a lot of that, like we talked about, wasn't necessarily to have them rehash the 90s, but be that behind-the-scenes thing. And everybody to a man talks about that influence. William Regal, and because the trajectory of the women's division, we both have talked about this quite a bit. We believe it's in the right path, right? It's going the right way. He would put it over the edge 100%. So I like
they got the players. They have the players.
They got the bodies
now
for
they just
sure.
Need a path. Yeah, now they just need the path, and I think he's one of the best ones to build the path.
Yep.
I mean, I appreciate the fact that they've been having Kenny Omega do it because he has a passion for it. Well, you have a guy who's got a passion, and you've got a guy who's on the open market who's got a track record of it.
Right.
I think.
Plus, Kenny Omega's got. I mean, that's just another hat to wear. For no offense to him, but he's also, when healthy, a full-time wrestler and a championship level wrestler. So
yeah,
pass that hat along, Kenny. Anywho, well, we'll see what happens. There were some other releases too. I think Danny Burch. Best luck in your future endeavors. Timothy Thatcher probably going back over to Europe, right? Maybe Japan.
Yeah.
But interesting stuff going on. So. We're going to get into all that. Speaking of Japan, we got plenty to talk about in Japan coming up here. Before we do, Jamie, let's review numbers from last week, okay?
All right, yeah. Let's knock these bad boys out. So amazingly enough, ladies and gentlemen, Raw was up. Not much. It was up. So they were at 1.553 or sorry 1.553, and then they went up to 1.592. So for them, It's a pretty solid increase because they're right around the 1.5 mark anymore.
Crazy.
NXT was also up with their go home show.
Was this go home or was this New Year's Evil?
This was New Year's Evil. Sorry,
Okay,
this was New Year's Evil. And it was up from 591 to 662. So that was a solid number.
Yeah.
I mean, it's higher than what they've been pulling lately.
It's over
100,000 more than they did 2 weeks ago. So
Jesus. I mean,
yeah. AEW did take a small dip. They went under the million mark again. They were at 975, down from the 1.020. So
that's
30,000. Yeah, 50,000.
50,000.
50. Yeah,
but I don't think that's too bad.
No, me either. I think it's one of those things that I bet you the one that we're going to talk about is going to have a nice spike because it is their first one on TBS
next week,
and what it gave us. So I'm curious to see what those numbers are next week for everybody.
I'm curious to see what the trend is moving forward too. Does this TBS thing have bigger dividends? Just in general. Not sure. I know that it's free, and I know that it's a godsend for Turner broadcast in general because, it makes more sense on TBS where they can pair it with like the Go Big Show and other things. Plus, TNT's frees up them for NHL quite a bit, even though the game
and
last
NBA.
night sucked. Well, NBA, Blues gave up four unanswered goals after having a 3-1 lead against the Pens, but instead of having a game at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock Eastern, they have a game at 6:30. So
yeah,
does that affect ratings? We'll see, but I don't know. I think I'm interested to see the trend long term for TBS. I really am.
Yeah, me too. Impact was up, which I'm trying to figure out.
Best of two. This is the best of two, like their year-end award show, right?
Yeah, best of two.
Which is okay. Sure.
It went from 79 to 82. They grew 3,000 people.
Cool.
Okay. On best ofs. There's another show that had a best of and got murdered because it was a best of on FS1. They went from 1.972 to 378,000.
Wait. Go back again and re-say that.
Okay, no problem. 1.972 million down to 378,000. The jump to FS1, it wasn't advertised. Nobody knew about it. Plus, it was on New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve. They weren't going to have anybody watching that anyway.
Yeah, New Year's Eve got both of them. But I do find it rather funny, though, that Rampage outdid SmackDown.
Pretty handily. Too.
Yeah, so they were down, though, obviously. They were down from 589 to 453 on a banger-ass show.
Right.
It was really good.
And we're going to talk about that show in just a little bit because we're going to give it a little more time. But it was a great show. So more to come there. But
that women's match.
Oh, that's what I want to talk about so much.
That's all I want to talk about. That show. It's so damn
we'll talk about. We'll mention the other stuff. But yeah, we'll stay tuned. We're putting a pin in that. We'll be right back. I find it hilarious though. The second lowest show of the week was SmackDown.
Yeah, and it got like if they ever went to FS1 full time, they would be back to being the B show.
Mm-hmm. Now, the interesting thing, I read a comment. Now, this is one of those grain of salt sort of things, right? How truthful is this? But Freddie Prinze Jr., from She's All That fame, right, and everything, he was a producer for years in WWE until COVID happened, and he was part of the, Future Endeavor crowd. He said in an interview, I can't remember who he was, but he had said that during the negotiations with Fox, that WWE is trying to sell the whole product to Fox. Like, not just give them, like they have now, the split, but they were looking to actually sell to Rupert Murdoch and co. The whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah, because Freddie Prinze Jr. at that time, because he left WWE a while back because he was creative, but he was on their creative board for Fox.
Oh, is that what it was?
Actually a part
okay,
of
I couldn't remember where
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So interesting to think about, you know. I'm telling you, it's just a matter of time before WWE does sell.
Oh yeah.
Just a matter of time. So let's talk about somebody who's not going to sell though, because New Japan came out with a bang 2022. Wrestle Kingdom, 3 nights of gloriousness. You've got a lot to talk about, Jamie.
Yeah, so I'm going to keep it quick. And
there's a ton.
There's a lot.
You can buy each night on Fight TV, by the way, if you really want to dig into it. It's a lot, yes. But there's some good stuff.
It's a lot. Each show is 3.5 hours a pop. Like, it's a lot of wrestling. A lot. You see a lot of the same faces. But let's just go over some of the title changes. I think that might be the easiest.
Do the broad brush strokes. Yeah.
Yeah. So night one, we saw a new, and I repeat, new, never open weight champion in Evil of the Bullet Club. And yes, it was in a controversial manner. That's his way. Big shocker. But he is now your never open weight champion.
You've been big on Evil for 6 months now, saying his rise. So
yeah. Mark Stradamus coming at you. Since he's got the belt, he's gonna push for the power to be the leader.
He's gonna overtake Jay White.
Yep, and they're gonna beat out Jay White.
Ooh.
I'm calling it. 2022 is the year that he gets beat out.
Maybe making a path for Jay White to America.
He's flirting with that a lot.
Sure as shit. So cool. Good for Evo.
Yeah,
I'm happy.
That's number one. Then number two. I just want to make sure I got them in order. Okay, yeah, I do. The main event of night one. Was for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Shingo Takagi versus Okada. And ladies and gentlemen, Okada won.
Drop that coin.
Yep. It was an amazing match. I watched the highlights of it. It was very good, but it was definitely not as good as the next match because on night 2...
I know which one you're getting to because it was my favorite match of Wrestle Kingdom by far, if you're on where I think you're going.
Night 2 happened the 5th. So for the United States, it was the 4th. And night 3 is actually happening right now, recording. So, it's happening today.
Right, I've already seen some... I've seen some notes about night 3 already, but
yeah, they're coming live, and I won't have all of them, so I have just the first 2 nights.
The meat of the matter was night 1 and 2, guys. I'm telling you.
Yeah, because night 2 is the invasion of Noah. Night 3. Sorry, night 2. Yeah, night 3. So night 2's main event was Will Ospreay facing the winner of Shingo Takagi and Okada. Well, now we know who that is. So it's Okada versus Ospreay night 2, and I'm going to keep that for a second because we're going to spend a little time on that guy. But then we happen to get new IWGP Tag Team Champions as well, ladies and gentlemen. The duo of Haruka Goto and Yoshihashi are now the new champion. Defeated the Chaos duo of Zack Sabre Jr. and Tachi. That was impressive.
That was very impressive. You still haven't gotten to my match of the night, though, of the event. Are you going to get there? Come on.
Oh, well,
Come on.
We had the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship and a no DQ, just amazing match.
Bonkers-ass no DQ match.
Yeah. Kenta, the champion, going against Hiroshi Tanahashi. And I can easily say this match fucked. And it fucked hard.
Find this match. Do yourself a favor. Get on YouTube. Find this match. Trust me.
Hard hitting. You had guitars. You had tables, of course.
Japanese tables.
So much Japanese tables.
Little skinny hard fuckers.
Yes. Yeah. Like it
tape
had
ladders.
everything and anything.
It was so good. And the two guys,
I wasn't talking about that. Yeah.
Oh, that's yeah. The two guys can just go at it too. I mean, there's some who say Tanahashi's past his prime. I don't get that. I don't understand that.
I don't either.
But you hear
It's like
you hear those people say that.
Yeah, Tetsuya Naito. People are saying that about him too. I'm like, what? He's like 33.
I know.
Get the fuck out of here.
I know. I don't get it. I don't agree with that. You tell us if you're a fan of Japanese wrestling, what are your thoughts on Naito and Tanahashi? Because, I mean, maybe it's just trolls.
And speaking of Tanahashi, Max Caster called him out. He wants a match with him.
I know, right? Which I want to see. I'm cool with that. Let's go.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys remember me talking about this, but Katsuyori Shibata, the guy who collapsed because of the heart thing,
right?
He had his first match since 2017 at Wrestle Kingdom against Ren Narita, and he ended up winning.
Oh, that's good.
His first match back in 5 years got the dub, so that's really good. And he's a really big name too, so
good for him.
Yeah, it's really good to hear that. But my match of Wrestle Kingdom thus far, and if you're an idiot, this is
not a surprising pick for Jamie to make.
It's like Meltzer, like, oh, it's a 17-star match. Actually, he did blow a load on this match. Will Ospreay versus Okada, and we have an undisputed IWGP Heavyweight Champion. And it is none other than the coin rainmaker himself, Okada.
Ding. That was a coin. That wasn't very good. Okay.
That was too hard for a coin.
No, it's like a memorial coin from my grandfather from like the VFW, and it's in a little thing. So,
oh yeah, nice.
I blew the effect there, but Okada.
Yeah, it's Okada, man. Like, so Okada won, and I think Meltzer legit gave it a 6-star, something crazy.
I don't doubt it.
It was an instant classic. If you have a chance to find it for free online, find it for free and watch the entire damn thing. Because both these guys were at peak performance, and this match was just beautiful. It was. Like, it's just one of those matches, like, you're like, that's a thing of beauty. Like, I'm watching art, and that's what this one was. Oh, yeah. It was so good. 5-star, because I don't go above 5 stars.
Thank you. Yes, because Okada Ospreay, you expect that. And interesting stat that I didn't realize. I knew that last year at Wrestle Kingdom, that's where Ospreay originally dropped the belt to Okada.
No, Okada dropped it to Ospreay.
Oh, okay, I couldn't remember, but.
And then he hurt his neck and he was out for a while. So
that's right. But last year. So he did beat Okada last year. I knew it was one time. He's beaten Okada. Yeah. They've wrestled 7 times now, and he's won once. Interesting stat, considering how damn good they both are.
But then you look at Tetsuya Naito. Him and Okada are exactly 7-7 against each other lifetime.
And Naito stepped up afterwards to be the next challenger. And I'm next in line, sort of thing. So.
Like how I threw that out there, yeah. Those two have been 50-50 with each other. They're equals, but I think we all know that they're not equals. I'm sorry. I like Naito. Okada is a rare animal.
And here's my argument, Jamie. Because you keep clamoring, you're gonna hear the coin drop in AEW. You're gonna hear it very soon. It's gonna happen at Revolution. It's gonna happen at this. This is why I don't think we're gonna see it very soon. Because he's got things to do as top guy in Japan. Just saying.
I beg to differ, sir, and here is why. He called out 2 names. He called out 2 names specifically: CM Punk
and Bryan Danielson.
And guess who just got done with their one feud?
Bryan Danielson. Someone we'll talk about later.
Oh, he's available. He's not doing anything right now.
But will that be in AEW?
Fucking A.
If Tony Khan has any business sense about him, it will be. I know. But
yeah, well, it'd be both. It'd be beneficial for both brands, because then New Japan has their top guy going against one of our top guys, and Bryan Danielson would be more than happy to lose that match. He doesn't care about winning anymore. and it'll make New Japan look super strong, and it'll get more eyes on New Japan, and it'll hopefully get New Japan a good deal here in the United States for TV,
Well,
other than the Roku channel.
well, they have a new deal in the United States for TV. So it's an interesting segue. It was announced right at the beginning of or after night one. I can't remember, but around the start, shortly after night one, it was announced that they have a U.S. TV partner. AXS TV, Anthem Entertainment is distributing but here's the good. Okay, we have long talked a lot of shit about AXS TV for the simple fact it's not on every set. It's not on a lot of providers. I don't have it. I have YouTube TV is my service. I don't have AXS TV. Jamie just got it on his. You have what, AT&T or whatever? I don't even know what you have.
I have DirecTV Stream now. It's on its fourth name.
DirecTV, but so anyway, but it's owned by Anthem Entertainment, which is why the owners of Impact, Anthem Entertainment, are going to keep Impact on there. But they're making moves, and so it's going to be a Thursday night wrestling night on AXS TV. Impact, followed by a New Japan weekly show.
Is it going to be strong, though? Because I heard it might be strong.
It probably is going to be a lot of strong. To be honest, it's going to be a lot of strong, is my guess, because this is a U.S. TV channel.
Yeah.
And having everything in Japanese with subtitles might not be the best for eyes outside of the marks like us.
Well, you can get it with American announcers.
Well, that's true.
They just have American announcers.
I don't
care what the words say.
I really don't know what it's going to entail because they weren't super forthright on it. It's not going to be a typical reoccurring programming episodic, wrestling, show like Dynamite, Raw, Impact, NXT. It's not going to be like that. It's the word that I read, at least from this initial kind of very brief little thing for the announcement, is that's going to be kind of like a weekly highlight show thing. The week in New Japan. So I don't know if that means a little bit of both, more strong, maybe strong one week and New Japan old school the next. I have no idea.
Yeah, we'll find out.
It's on US TV though. I don't remember. I don't have it in front of me.
I don't have it in any of my notes on New Japan, which is interesting. But,
very interesting.
Yeah, I know that there's been a lot of chatter online from AEW and New Japan wrestlers calling each other out a lot more lately. Like
January 20th.
Oh, sweet. So I could see a crossover event, something coming, where it's like a one night only pay-per-view style type thing. New Japan, that could be what it is at minimum, other than we're sitting here on Dynamite and hear a damn coin drop and everybody just, legit jizzes in their pants.
I mean, to me, that would be the thing. And I think that, Khan's been very, very forthright about not wanting to follow the WWE model in a lot of things. And pay-per-views is one of them. He said, don't count on us having more than 4 pay-per-views, but I don't mind doing specials. Like Grand Slam. He wants to make that a yearly thing, right? Make that a yearly thing. He's going to do special events. Beach Break is a yearly on TV thing, and Winter is Coming.
In Cleveland, Ohio.
I mean, there is a lake there. There's a beach of sorts. Technically, it's a beach.
Yeah, I think I might just come back. That is a wrestling town, and I know there's a guy from there who's known for wrestling.
I agree with you on that statement. I stick to my guns that it's too soon. He is more a man. He is not going to leave his wife at home. And I don't think
show up for one night. And then
well, I mean, does it make sense for him to show up and then not show up again for another 6 weeks?
I bet he could just dart in and do like a couple weeks and then dart back out.
Or promo Land City.
Like he shows up, does something, and then a whole bunch of promos. Like Veer is coming. Veer,
oh
whatever
God, I'm so sick of seeing advertisements for this Veer Mahan. It was like,
Veer Mahan is coming. Veer Mahan is coming. Next thing you see, Veer Mahan has been released, and we wish him well on.
It's driving Denise Salcedo is driving her up a fucking wall. If you don't follow our friend over from Fightful Select and GCW announcing and Mission Pro and one of the hardest working women in all of wrestling, Denise Salcedo, go follow her ass on Twitter. Twitter game is very strong, but Veer Mahan is causing her to like start drinking at noon sort of shit. It's just like driving her crazy. Good. It's great.
It is so good.
Well, so January 20th, New Japan starts, and it's going to be reliving the classics, whatever the fuck that means. It also doesn't say how long it is, if it's an hour, 2 hours. Just literally, if you follow the New Japan NJPW Global on Twitter, all new NJPW hits AXS TV Thursdays at 10 Eastern, 9 Pacific. So you imagine an hour show after Impact. Get hyped with classic episodes airing from January 20. There you go. It's on US TV.
If they do classics, do you think they'll show the Okada Omega match?
I don't know what else could be defined as a classic if you don't show that match.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
This is the all-time match. Like
I agree.
I don't care what anybody says. It's the best match that's ever been on the face of this tournament.
One of the greatest wrestling matches that ever had lived. I agree wholeheartedly. I'm very firm on you can't go above 5 stars, but I agree that is a 7-star match. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, like there's 5 stars, but in our mind, that match went through the ceiling, and so did our rating. That's the way I feel.
If they really want to get eyes, you show that first, and then the next week or maybe show that second week. Maybe you build up the first week. You show Ospreay Ricochet from World Super Juniors.
Oh, yeah.
The textbook definition of Spotfest. So.
Yeah, that's one of the inspirations for our game right there.
Indeed, because that is what shows up when you open up Webster's and look up the word Spotfest. All right, so let's talk a little AEW. So Friday night, yeah. So more stuff on New Japan to come. With it being on TV on a station Jamie has access to, we'll be able to see a lot more. So we'll see. But this past Friday, New Year's Eve, was the final wrestling show of the year. AEW Dynamite, yes, or AEW Rampage. Yes, it was pre-tape, but whatever. The final wrestling show of the year from Jacksonville. Once again, like we talked about last week with the last Dynamite from Jacksonville. Tony Khan wants to make that a yearly thing. In the year in Jacksonville every year. Cool. I dig it. The crowd was amped. When it's not having to be at Jacksonville every single week, it is a special place to watch wrestling. I really think that. I really do believe that. So you had Darby Allin opening against Anthony Bowens. Acclaim getting a lot of airtime recently, just saying. Darby gets the win, started off the show. And it was interesting because afterwards, Andrade El Idolo, he kind of came out and caused a distraction, which led to the Acclaim beating up Sting and Darby. I mean, you think Andrade versus Darby? Andrade versus Sting? I don't know.
It'd be Darby, 100% Darby.
It would be Darby. Andrade said that he's very open to wanting to bring his future father-in-law, Ric Flair, into AEW. Which the Sting angle kind of makes sense then, if you think about it, because of their history together. But anyway, interesting. Then you had the match we're going to come back to, because it deserves the majority of our focus. And it was the women's street fight match between the Bunny and Penelope Ford and Ty Conti and Anna Jay. Ty J won. We'll be back in a second because this match deserves a lot of talk. The last match, maybe not as much talk, but it was a TNT title match. Codelander, Cody Rhodes up against Ethan Page. Cody defended in the same way. He's very much bringing in the heel stuff. He ripped off the knee brace, of Ethan Page, So he's following along. I already gave you your stamp. I'm not giving you another stamp. You already had your stamp last week. You're right. You were right. But yeah, Codelander's upon us. So let's talk about this street fight because this was... Everybody knows me knows I'm partial to shit like this, right? Still, this thing started off hot. Very reminiscent of when we saw the Besties win the tag titles over at NWL in the Chicago street fight. Started off with Ty J coming in with a trash can and just throwing it straight in the face of Penelope Ford.
It was amazing. It's like that's how you knew this match was going to be amazing. Just
boom. Okay, ring the bell now. It's like yes. And then Anna Jay took the brass knucks from the Bunny and smacked her good on him. And then the Bunny went under the ring and bladed herself a bit too deep because she was bleeding everywhere.
It looked amazing. I have to say, Bloody Bunny was probably my highlight of the entire thing because she did like these primal screams, was acting crazy. But Bloody Bunny by far was my favorite thing. Actually, no, sorry, the second favorite thing.
I mean, it was great. Penelope looked amazing too in this match. She doesn't get nearly enough credit, I don't feel. She has actually come a long way. She's a fantastic wrestler. I think a lot of people just maybe it's because she was tied with Joey Janela for all those years, and it just kind of swept under the rug sort of bit because Joey Janela Association. I don't know, but she looked great. She set up Ty on a table on the outside. They went to the top turnbuckle to do a moonsault, which looked good, landed with her knees right across Ty's chest, and the table didn't budge.
Yeah, no, not at all.
It looked extra stiff because of that. More spots left and right. Tables brought out, put in the ring, especially airbrushed, Buddy and Penelope table, and there was chairs all over the place. And then Anna Jay said, "All right, I'm probably the tallest one of all. It's time for me to start the show up." She did a superplex. Well, no, she did some maneuver where she put Bunny through two chairs that were face to face.
Oh yeah, that looked nasty.
Tip to tip,
beautiful.
bent the shit out of a table. There's a back suplex through a table. The Bunny did my favorite thing, pulled out a giant ass bag of tacks.
Yes.
And she got superplexed through them by Anna Jay, which looked amazing. Was even best was the end. So it came down to it. There was another table set up on the outside, and Ty Conti, who's now got color as well, she got cut open on top of her head, or bladed or whatever as well. Not nearly as bad as the Bunny, but she got color as well. And she takes Penelope onto the apron and does a Gotch-style pile driver from the apron through the table. And I heard Jamie from the other side of the Kansas City Metro when that move happened.
Yeah, and that was my third move of the night.
That was your third move of the night? What were your first two? Just give it to me.
Well, my number 2 was Bloody Bunny. That pile driver was number 3. But mine was 100% the finish.
Okay, tell about the finish then, because the finish was great.
Yeah. So, Anna Jay wraps barbed wire around her arm. And then when that happened, that's when I got really excited. I'm like, oh my God, this has gotten super hardcore really quick. And she pulls up on the Bunny and does the Queen Slayer with the barbed wire around her neck, falls back on the tacks, and is just choking the shit out of her with the barbed wire. Like, I'm like, oh my God, this is beautiful.
This is ICW shit going on here, but it looked fantastic, and that caused her to tap finally. But kudos to the women for this match. Kudos to AEW for giving us this match. I'm not going to call it a shame because I love these type of matches, but it's interesting that probably two of the best women's matches of the year. I mean, the whole Sheeta D series you can put on that pedestal. There are several others too, but probably maybe because it's the most recent one. This was one of the better women's matches of the year. Plus, you also had the lights out match between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. But I mean, if you give it to them, let them do it. If they want to do it, I think it's good. I think it's good for women to see them in these spots like this. Let their characters get some vigor and some hatred and some ultra violence. It doesn't have to just be the men that can do that shit. I loved it.
It was probably like they ended 2021 with probably at least top five women's match of the year. Like it was that damn good.
It was good.
And all the other four either had Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker, both, or Ruby Soho. Like that's what you had. Or sorry, Hikaru Shida.
Or Shida as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like this was the first time you didn't have one of the super strong, badass wrestlers that everybody, has on this pillar. Like this is the first time you had like their quote unquote role player girls, which is terrible. I hate that. They showed out, man. They showed out.
Yeah.
And I think for 2022, this is gonna put those four women on a completely different level for the rest of the year.
Well, and the Bunny's already established. We already know what we're getting with Bunny or Allie, Laura Van Ness, whatever the fuck. She's been of the four, she's probably been around the longest, right? And we've seen her, and she has a very interesting dynamic with Rosemary as well. I love their co-branded merchandise. It's fantastic. But, especially considering that the people that they are outside of the ring is the weirdest friendship ever. I love it. But she's probably got the most experience, the most longevity, of them all. Penelope's not far behind her, but it's not super, long in the industry. Ty Conti, very well documented that she's still, she's only been in this a few years, right? Anna Jay is green by time's expectation, not by actual in-ring ability, but she's only been doing this for like 2 years, right? So
yeah, she's barely been doing longer than Jade,
and she had some of the best spots in the match. I think Anna Jay's got a ridiculously bright future ahead of her. We all know Ty's in the right trajectory. Penelope underutilized, fantastic, and the Bunny's a proven commodity. You know what you're getting from the Bunnies. So I'm with you. I want to see him get more, and maybe we will with TBS. Who knows? But I mean, Rampage was good in and of itself.
I'd hope so, man, because it was awesome. That fucking match rocked. I can't talk enough about how great that match was.
It was so good.
By far the best match of the night. And
not even close. I mean, Cody and Ethan was a good match. It was a good match. Ethan looked great. He did a couple like really interesting things I haven't seen him do. And Darby Allin always does a Darby Allin match, right? You're never gonna not get that out of Darby Allin. Bowens is great young talent as well, but the women just stole the fuck. Said, nope, my show. Put it in my pocket. Let's go home. So that was the end of 2021, and then Dynamite last night opened up a brand new chapter on TBS, Jamie.
Yes, so TBS's first Dynamite of the year started off.
I see what you did there.
Really, 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 really good. Yeah, I like this show. It had a lot of weirdness to it, and a gruesome injury. Let's just get through the matches. Let's go through the card.
Go to the card first.
So it opened with Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Page in a 60-minute time limit, and then they had 3 judges, which was Paul White, Jerry Lynn, and Mark Henry. So that was that. I'm not gonna go over who won this one yet because I kind of want to spend just a few minutes.
We'll save the. You already kind of gave it away, but
yeah, MJF versus Shawn Dean. Which I really enjoyed actually a lot more than I thought I was going to in so many different ways. Wardlow versus local competitor number 26 this time, in Anthony
Antonio.
Zambrano.
Oh, you did get him, Antonio.
Yeah.
Antonio Zambrano.
Antonio Zambrano.
Gotta make it extra Italian.
Yeah. Then we had the women's TBS finals of Jade Cargill with Smart Mark Sterling versus one Ruby Soho.
Hey, Ruby.
And we have a new champion there, obviously. And then we had Malakai Black going against Brian Pillman Jr. with Julia Hart, which
I'm gonna talk about that for sure. Don't you worry. I'm putting
out something I was thinking, but I think it built more.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a giant pin in that. That's my big pin.
And then we had the AEW Tag Team Championship match of Jurassic Express with one Christian Cage going against the Lucha Bros. And that match was amazing, except for the very, very end.
Yes.
So let's just.
Do you want to start at the top, or do you want to?
Let's go ahead and start at the top. Let's start at the Hangman Page match, because Hangman Danielson, it definitely did not go 60 minutes. Thank God.
34 minutes was the total counter.
Yeah, it was a great match.
Which is perfect. It was perfect. It really was perfect amount of time for this match. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was perfect. Hangman ended up getting the W.
Clean.
He hit the buckshot and he got it clean. Both of the men were bloody. It had everything you wanted there. It was really, really, really damn solid. But I was, to your point, when you said that too, I am 100% shocked it was clean.
I mean, the way that Danielson has been this heel Danielson and going after a Dark Order and insisting on judges for when they hit 60 minutes and all that. The fact that it kind of came out of nowhere in a retrospect, flurry of moves and a buckshot, then a pin. It's just like, interesting. It's Danielson's first loss in AEW.
Yeah.
And it was
He's officially no longer undefeated.
And it was very legitimate, straight loss. So it's like, okay, I don't know what that means. Maybe something like a New Japan opening door. I don't know.
Yeah, him and Okada. Let's go. Let's make that happen tomorrow.
But good for him,
Tony.
Good way to start. Good way to start the match for sure.
Yeah. So that was there. Then you had MJF versus Sean Dean. Sean Dean picks up the win, ladies and gentlemen.
But how would he do that, Jamie? I don't expect Sean Dean to beat MJF.
Funny you ask. So as soon as he gets in the ring with Sean Dean, CM Punk suddenly runs down the ring, gives Dean a GTS, which disqualifies MJF.
MJF ran, of course, immediately.
Yeah, he took off. And then they cut a great promo with each other again.
I have notes on this, yes.
Oh, my God. It had everything you wanted from both of them. MJF was threatening to leave because to go, main event a WrestleMania, because that's the reason you left in the first place, is because you couldn't main event a WrestleMania or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I have it quoted here.
Yeah.
So go ahead and main event night 4 of a buy one get one free special, and then get released faster than you last in the sack.
Yeah, it was perfect. Those two were trading barbs so much.
Oh, so good.
And then finally, it's just like, you want this match? You guys want this match? You want this match? Fine. It's you versus Wardlow. It's like, oh, of course.
Next week.
Yes, next week. Which I
want that match. I do want that match.
I want that match, but I don't think that match is gonna happen.
You think? Okay. Well, I mean, Wardlow did what Wardlow did against Antonio Zambrano after Sean Spears jumped him with the beginning of the match when the ref was distracted. Jumped him, threw him in the ring, and told Wardlow to pin him. And Wardlow's basically to a fuck you to Spears, picks him up and power bombs him 5 times. Extra
not one,
time.
Not 2, not 3, not 4, but yes, 5. 5, ladies and gentlemen. 5 power bombs.
So what do you think is going to happen? Do you think Spears is going to prevent Wardlow from doing that they're going to turn on him, or what?
So I think MJF is going to get all up in his face and all this stuff about, you go do that. So he's just going to get in the ring and walk out. in a manner of I'm pissed off at you, and then he gets counted out. So the match doesn't officially happen, and then we get the barbs.
Okay.
That's what I feel like.
It'll
I
be
feel like, and
interesting.
then it starts the Wardlow MJF feud that's going to happen right after this.
Right, but see, and my thing is that I think that going down that path with MJF and Wardlow right now is counterintuitive because you basically doubled down tonight after last week's kind of feel-good moment from CM Punk with him, getting back into it. And that's the way the promo really started from MJF. It's like, what the hell? Last week you said you were done with me, and now you can't get enough of me. What's going on with you, And so he's fully in. This is the thing happening more, between them. I feel like Wardlow needs more of a... I worry if they do that, it's going to get pushed under the rug too much, the Wardlow MJF fallout. And I don't think it deserves its spotlight. I think that I like your original idea that he ends up abandoning MJF at Revolution. CM Punk beats him, and that leads MJF to then feud with Wardlow after Revolution. I like that idea better. I think you could use Spears, because you've put him in there as kind of a wedge anyway. You could put Spears and Wardlow falling out next week. Maybe that's why the match doesn't happen, and CM Punk go to sleep, Spears instead, or something like that,
Yeah.
And that's infighting that doesn't involve MJF specifically.
Yeah, I can see that.
My thought. Give us your thoughts down below.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what happens there. I mean, Wardlow will definitely come out, and I think MJF will say something condescending. They'll have some video package before it happens, and he'll be all condescending towards them and all that good stuff. And then Spears will be all up in his face about use the chair. Maybe the match does start for a little bit, and he's like, use the chair. And he's like, no. And then he just gets down, stares at Spears, and just walks off at Spears. So it's between him and Spears.
Right. They've done enough little kind of psychological implanting there between the two of them to have that fallout, but have it not necessarily, like I said, not necessarily affect MJF and MJF versus CM Punk. Because you don't want to spoil that. That's going to be gold.
Yeah. 100%. So after this, you had Chris Jericho come out though, and I did want to talk about this for one main thing.
Okay.
What the hell was up with his hair?
I don't know.
Did you see it too?
It was like he was trying to relive 1997. I don't know.
It was full on brown, but then the spot right up here was extra dark brown, and it looked splotchy. I'm like, did he get plugs? I don't know. It definitely did not look good on Jericho.
The man's like 60. He might have. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm like, what is up with that? And then 2.0 attacks and whatever.
It's a whatever thing. That whole thing's a whatever thing. I legitimately like 2.0. I think Daniel Garcia is a future champion of some ilk. I don't get a lot of the things that they've been in Rivalry Rise to start in AEW.
No, I agree. And then after he had the Adam Cole, Bobby Fish thing, I thought that was great. And then
Jake Atlas all elite.
Yeah, Jake Atlas is all elite, and they're gonna face each other. And I like how they were making a lot of references to NXT, I'm still the guy. And then I loved at the very, very end.
It's so good.
And they're like, okay, Brandon, we're done. And then here's Kyle O'Reilly. Landed. Cut it. It was so good. I was like, Jesus.
I mean, it's funny because you had Cole talking the whole... I'm going to talk more about this than you did because they had Cole talking the whole time. And Fish and O'Reilly are kind of just there by their side. But Cole's going on and on about how he knew that, first of all, he knew that Kyle didn't mean to kick him in the face last week. He knew it. And Kyle just didn't say a word. And kind of gave him a side eye a few times, but didn't say a word. But he keeps going on about how with the Young Bucks, they're the biggest. With them. And it's like, this fallout is going to be so massive when it happens. I mean, this is definitely an all-out, full gear style, long build.
It's going to be all out, and we're going to be there for it. They're going to build it for all out.
I think all out's where you want to have it. I think all out's, if I'm doing Magic Hat Predictor land, I think all out's where you have this happen. I think all out could potentially be where you see CM Punk go for a title. I think that, but they are building it and they're doing it masterfully because literally, Fish didn't say a word, and those are the only words that O'Reilly said, and they were gold. Cut the camera, Landon.
Cut it, Landon. Jesus, yeah, that's so good. So after that, Wardlow won, obviously, in the squash match. 5 power bombs, as we already said. Then we get to the women's TBS championship match, and this one,
It was odd.
I want to love it. I do. I want to, but it felt really choppy.
It
Like
was
real choppy.
Unfortunately, it was. And let me preface a lot of this. Everybody here very much knows my proclivity, and a part of me knew that this was the outcome that happened was going to be what happened.
Yeah.
Jade won. Okay, Jade is your first TBS champion.
Who came out looking like Storm, which was awesome.
That was cool. But if you, and I really started thinking about this last week. All the promotional material for TNT on TBS and the upcoming stuff and all this stuff, all of it has Jade Cargill all over it. Mm-hmm. I mean, she is a very marketable looking woman, right? I don't buy into people that say, well, Tony Khan had the Hulk or Fluffle. He said some stuff in the wrong way as relates to some race relation things, and him and Leo have been, they're good. They would have worked some stuff out, because of how he said something as it related to Big Swole and all this. And because of that, they're going to give Jade the belt. I don't believe that for a second. But
my understanding is Swole spoiled it online back in October.
Oh, that's probably.
It's been in the plan. It's been in the works for a long time.
Right. I think that's the whole thing. Is like, and we've seen this. Her first match was a nationally televised, co-ed tag team match with Shaq. So that's what I'm saying. I felt like, yes, it made all the sense in the world because they've been hyping her up. Of course, it comes at the detriment of my girl. Plus, open up. She's walking in as Storm, and they do a cut of her man with her daughter in the fucking front row, and it's like, well, of course she's gonna win.
You know what's going down now. Yeah,
you're gonna make the 5-year-old girl cry in the front row. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, it was a big thing there. They did have Mercedes Martinez come down like she was going to fight, and then here comes Thunder Rosa to set that up, obviously. Also, Thunder Rosa has been sending lots of barbs back and forth with one Maki Ito, who said she wants to come back to AEW and dominate, and I'm like, I'm all here for it. Please come back, Maki Ito.
Now, they've actually have wrestled in Japan in the past, so that's very interesting to me.
Yeah, they were trading barbs on Twitter, and Maki Ito says, "You talk too much, bitch." Like, oh my god! And then to which Thunder Rosa's like, "You don't want this smoke." And it's like, we all want this smoke. We want 100%. This so bad in the U.S.
Well, it makes me think that either A, they've changed their plans for the long-term idea of the women's title, or B, they're just pushing back Thunder Rosa and Britt to a later date. Because later on in this show, one of the promos they had was, Tony Schiavone doing an interview with Ruby Soho backstage. Almost immediately interrupted by Britt Baker.
Yeah.
Which I found odd. I'm not against that. I think that that's a good spot for Baker to go into, but it was like, I was for sure that after Riho, Baker and Rosa would be on a trajectory. But with the Mercedes Martinez now apparently feuding with Rosa, it looks like they might do Soho Baker angle again. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be a Soho Baker, and then they're going to probably end up doing something crazy like a cage match or something, so it's only those two.
I want to see Ruby just win a title for once in a major promotion. Just once. Just give it to her. Come on.
Well, they called it out, too. It's like, I mean, Britt called it out. It's like, once again, you can't win it.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, that main evented, Grand Slam. I think people would love to see that again. I think that'd be a great thing. I would like to see Ruby Rosa go in a series of matches. I think that would tear the roof off. But I get
think
the
the belt
draw.
needs to be on one of them first. That's how I feel about that.
I know. And I almost think you can take those three and do like an interchangeable thing. Start doing that jibe. Maybe throw in Sheeta every once in a while. Maybe throw in Nyla here and there. I think that's how you can really spice it up. Yes, that requires you moving belts around a little bit more than they have previously. But once again, we both are in agreement on this, and I hope you guys listening are as well. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I think I kind of like this direction right now, because then you set up with Mercedes Martinez and all of that. Then who's Jade gonna be the first one in line to go against her? Nyla?
I like that.
That makes a lot of sense.
They feuded back around All Out time, but they never actually matched up against each other. So
they had like a weird alliance there for a hot minute,
which Nyla turned her back on her, and so I like that. I mean, I do.
It's unfinished business there, so we'll see what happens there.
See what happens. There's plenty of direction. The good thing about the women's division too is plenty of storylines now. You had they had a little piece about Statlander and Layla Hirsch. You know, they continue to have their fallout going on. And you sit down and interview JR with Serena Deeb, who consummate professional, spitting fire against Sheeta. Next week we get Sheeta Deeb 4.
Yeah.
Bring it on. We said this before. We can watch this every fucking week.
Yeah, like that match, every time they do it is just absolutely amazing.
2 matches left. Do you want to do the tag titles last, or do you want to do Malakai last?
Well, let's do Malakai. I think the Malakai match, it had so many little seeds, and it had another seed, which I feel like is going to have to go in a new direction after this last match. But, so Malakai Black versus Brian Pillman Jr. It actually was a longer match than I was expecting. Brian Pillman Jr. looked pretty good until he tried to do a top rope maneuver and slipped and botched it. Then he got black masked, 1, 2, 3. But he did come out with Julia Hart, who was wearing an eye patch. I'm like, I don't remember the Black Mist getting so bad in the eye she has to wear an eye patch.
Okay, well, it did for Pac.
Oh, that's right.
Pac had the eye patch on. Now, not only that, Julia Hart had an eye patch. She also had no pom-poms, was wearing just like some leggings, was wearing pants, still wasn't wearing her cheerleader skirt.
Yep.
Jacket all buttoned up, and was very kind of, not Debbie Downer, but a lot kind of mopier, darker Julia Hart.
Yeah, her demeanor was a lot less peppy.
Which, if I could give a virtual stamp out there, I'm giving it to Heather Librarian, because she's gone deep. If anybody watching our videos and follows along with Heather commenting down below every week, she's gone deep into this whole Malakai lore, like impressively deep. And she talks about how everybody gets sprayed with the mist, comes back as a darker version of himself. Pillman last week, even when he challenged Malakai, had a Venom t-shirt on. Symbolism? Maybe. But everybody's come up more violent afterwards, or more evil in some manner of speaking.
Cody.
Absolutely. Look at Cody. The Codelander wasn't Codelander in this fashion until that. So this could, like I said, and I 1000% agree with that. I still do. And I think this supports our long-term idea that she's going to be on the House of Black in some fashion in the near future. I really do. I was kind of hoping tonight she like at some point she would have sprayed black mist in Pillman's face, while the ref was distracted. I really wished I would have seen that, but I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts there, Jamie?
So I think at first I was like, oh man, she's out here with him. And then I saw those things. And then like at the very end, she was checking on Brian Pillman, and here comes Malakai back into the ring, and she just like scoots back, afraid of him, but not like, and she's cowering a little bit, but not like crazy.
Not
and
like
then
we're bringing the corner, like, don't hurt me, yeah.
Yeah, and then like when the Lucha Bros come out, this is where I was like, oh, here we go, because then lights go out and the Lucha Bros and Malakai switched, so the Lucha Bros are in the ring, and now Malakai is on the entrance ramp. And I was like, oh man, this is like the perfect time. She's standing right next to him. Like that's what I thought was going to happen. And then also Brody King show up.
I thought for sure when that blackout happened with the Lucha Bros that Brody King was going to be by his side. 100% thought that.
So, and then when the lights went out during the main event, because that happened as well, I thought, oh shit, here it is again. Here's Brody King and Malakai, who they're going to cost them the match. Well, that didn't happen. But let's go ahead and talk about this main event, because this main event was amazing. It had spots a go-go.
These two teams just make spot fests every time they match up. They really do.
The only thing is every now and again, Luchasaurus can be a little dangerous. And damn it, if he was very dangerous and completely missed a fucking table.
Yep. So the spot was a choke slam. And there's lots of stuff. There's Canadian destroyers left and right in this thing, right? All sorts of crazy shit. But near the end, he was doing a choke slam from the apron of Phoenix onto the table down below.
Yep.
Overshot it a little bit far, and Phoenix put his arm out. I don't know if he should have, for one. That might partially on Phoenix as well, too. Don't just completely.
Well, he was expecting to land flat, and he landed off kilter. So that's the thing.
Your elbow goes one way. His elbow went the other way, all the way. And I saw the replay. I go, holy shit. It was.
We were around it because I'm like, oh my god, and Jen's like, what? And Megan's like, what? I'm like, did you see his arm? It was like, no. I'm like, I rewound it. It's like, watch it bend. It's like, oh, it's not supposed to bend that way. I'm like, no, it's not.
He immediately points at his arm,
showing it.
I know, and I'm just like, stop showing it. I'm like, see, he immediately pointed at his arm and was yelling at Doc Samson, you know, and you saw that immediately. Also, because the finish of the match ended up being Jungle Boy and Penta. Whether that was planned or not, I don't know. But you saw Luchasaurus kind of disappear too. He's gonna crawl off to the side
real quick. Yeah. So Jungle Express gets the win. They're overdue there, but man, like. It was because of the off kilter, and accidents happen, guys. Like I'm not trying to say we need to.
To be fair, Phoenix has Lucha, injured in maybe a reckless way many people too.
Yeah, it happens. So, accidents do happen, but it's just one of those things. Like some wrestlers do have a track record of doing that. Nia Jax, but it just happens. But he is officially, it's been confirmed he has a broken arm, and he was on his way to the hospital as of us recording this.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. There's no way he did not break his arm. And I don't know if this derails the Brody King reveal now.
That's where I was at, because they were totally setting up Brody King and Malakai to face off against the Lucha Bros. So who are they going to start going after? Do you feel like they're going to go right after Jurassic Express and just leapfrog everybody? I don't know. That's where I'm at.
I mean, if you want. Now, they ended the show with all the tag teams and this is a little bit odd, and all the tag teams in the locker room come out and stand on the ramp, kind of like stare down Jurassic Express. You had the Acclaimed, you had Red Dragon, FTR's up there, 2.0, Private Party. Cool, right? All right, yeah, we get it. Yeah, a lot of people, everybody wants the gold. Whatever. I didn't get it. That last little bit, I don't know if that was filler. I really like to know if it was supposed to be Jurassic Express winning, and it was changed because of Phoenix's injury on the fly, or
I don't think so. I think Lucha Bros are supposed to drop it regardless, because with everybody hopping out, I don't think they were able to rally all of the tag team troops that fast.
Okay, I hear you.
You know what I mean?
So it was just I don't whatever, little gripes about the ending, and I just Malakai had said, and he's a tease, I know, but he said that there was going to be at least 2 members of House of Black revealed tonight. I don't know. I felt like tonight would have been a great night to have Brody King at least show his face side by side.
Yeah, I think they scrapped that after the injury. Like, nope. You guys aren't coming out now.
Like maybe they were maybe they were going to come out to end the show.
Yeah, that's why Malakai, when they showed him, because they did like videos of showing people watching, and like they're up in the stand sitting area, like which is right around the corner for the guys to easily get to. They show him, and he had all of his stuff on. He still had like the thing over his head, like he was probably
like
gonna show
scarf
up.
thing, yeah. So
yeah.
Hey, shit happens sometimes. But other than that, like I said, the ending was a little bit unfortunate because of that. But other than that, I mean, it was a great show overall. You know, I mean, Ruby didn't win the belt, but you know, I think if that leads to, you know, if that leads to Ruby, Rosa, Britt, and maybe like I said, Yoshida, Deeb, you know, kind of in like the title picture, and you have all the other like some of the more lesser known or younger talents vying for the TNT title or TBS, title. I kind of like that as well. It silos the women a little bit, but now you've got more than one title. You can have multiple matches and storylines and stuff going on for more than just, you know, to be there. So all right, well, that was wrestling. So, lastly, this coming Saturday is a couple things. So we have AEW's Battle for the Belts, Battle of the Belt Battle, whatever the fuck it is, over in Charlotte. You got Britt Baker, DMD, putting up her title against Riho, who she's never defeated. You've got Sammy Guevara getting his return shot at Codelander. And there'll be other matches along with it there. It's apparently going to be about an hour special from what I've heard. So that is happening right before Impact Wrestling has their first major pay-per-view of the year. Hard to Kill. Now, I'm going to give you the real quick rundown of the card for this. First and foremost, I do want to say, shout out to them. It is a sellout. They have completely sold out in Dallas, Texas for Hard to Kill. So for those who say that AEW can't hold a flame, I beg to differ. So in this is going to be such a good event. So your main event, triple threat match for the Impact World title. Moose defending his belt against W. Morrissey and Matt Cardona. That's not the only title on the line. You've also got the Knockouts title being decided in a Texas death match between Mickie James defending against Deonna Purrazzo. You have an X Division title match, Trey Miguel versus Steve Macklin, 1-on-1, finally. It's going to be so good. Knockouts tag team title match of the Influence, that's Madison Rayne and Tenille Dashwood, versus the Inspiration, Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay. And you have the Ring of Honor World title match. Yes, I said that right. Jonathan Gresham is defending his Ring of Honor World title against Chris Sabin. What the fuck?
Wow.
I don't know if you heard that or not. I just like
I did not.
Yes. So that could steal the show too. If those of you who have not seen Jonathan Gresham, it's Jordan Grace's husband. He's amazing. He is so good. So
yeah, absolutely. He's
comes out of the big like kind of like Big E style like leather duster vest thing and like a big Cthulhu mask. It's great. So anyway, so you've got that, and then you've got two crazy ass matches. There's a hardcore war. It's just basically a 10-person, street fight hardcore match. Heath and Rhino, Eddie Edwards, Rich Swann, and Willie Mack versus Violent by Design. That's Eric Young, Diener, and Joe Doring, and the Good Brothers. So 10-man hardcore war, and what I am stupid excited for, the first ever Knockouts Ultimate X match. Chelsea
I'm
Green.
looking forward to that as well.
Yeah. Chelsea Green, Lady Frost, Tasha Steelz, Rosemary, Rachel Ellering, and Jordan Grace. Winner receives a title shot for the Knockouts title. Let's fucking go. Now, I bring this up and I end with this today because, as you see down below, we have been doing in the past these toy belts and our pay-per-view picks between myself, Jamie, and this one right here, Megan, not my champion, Faulkner.
Your champion. Your
Hashtag-
champion. It's
hashtag
signed
not-
to you as your champion.
Hashtag, well, she can sign whatever she wants. Hashtag not my champion. We've been going back and forth for these for years, but we've decided to do it a little bit different in 2022 and moving forward because it's going to be tough to keep up with a lot of this. We don't watch NXT. We don't watch WWE anymore. I mean, it is what it is. So to make a little bit more sense, instead of trying to lobby to get 4 different title belts, we have created, and if you're watching this on YouTube, you should be seeing a sweet little graphic come across the screen right now. We have created our own title, the Total Spotfest Pay-Per-View Champion strap. Is this being crafted in the JJ's Craft Studio? Yes. I'm halfway done. It looks amazing. And this will be the first time that it'll be offered. So this will be the last episode where we have these belts here. Who's going to be the inaugural Total Spotfest champion? We don't know. We will find out next week. This is the inaugural giving of it.
3 out of the 4, I should be the inaugural already and have to defend it right now.
Well, if you had 4 out of 4, I would fully agree with that. But nobody's
The FWO has all of them, and on there it has FWO versus the J Money Club. It has both of our logos. So by proxy, you even have it on there. We're the champions.
Now, currently you are the 4 champions, yes. But this belt has not been decided. Who was the TBS? Was Jade Cargill the defending TBS title, or was it the first time it was awarded tonight?
Yeah, but you had champions.
It's the first time it's awarded. First time this is awarded is at this weekend. We're gonna all give our picks.
I'll win it then.
Just win it if you want that. Just win it. So look for that coming next week, and we will have the belt to be given out in its entirety with its wonderful strap. And as you saw, yes, JB was very clear, and you've probably seen that picture. I made it months ago, but I gave him his Faulkner World Order logo finally. But of course, in retort, I had to come back for myself. Don't join the Faulkner World Order. It's just too sweet to be in the J Money Club.
We originated Too Sweet. You stole Too Sweet.
I made it better. That's what money does. That's what money does, honey. All right, so more on that next week. So this is our first time, and then we'll be rotating. So we'll do it for Impact for some of the big ones. We'll do it for all the big ones from AEW. We might do it at a random time. Maybe we'll do it for like a local show. Maybe we'll do it, for something else. Who knows? It's kind of a little bit more open now. We can put this belt up in different fashions. We can figure other stuff for it. Whatever. So it's just gonna be singular. Who's our champion instead of trying to go after 4 different ones? This makes it a little more fun, I think, too, because it's just one belt. It's just one belt. Get the belt, right? Get it one way or another.
It's fine. You'll never win it still.
Probably not, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, even
the guy who watches Impact the most has still never had it.
made the fucking belt. I made a replica Impact belt, and since I've made it, I haven't had it in my possession. Yes, and I won't because it's retired now, and you guys have it, so it's there. This one, I'm going to win somehow or another. So stay tuned for that, guys. And then, yeah, there's lots of local wrestling coming up. Stay tuned. We got interviews lined up coming up here soon. Dynamic Wrestling Federation has a show on the 22nd. Jamie and I are going. We may be going to some other local-ish shows. There are, within a 3-hour drive, there's a lot of wrestling around Kansas City. So we're looking at kind of expanding out, looking at Iowa. There's stuff in Omaha, I know. Some other places, too. Maybe St. Louis.
Obviously.
St. Louis is an easy drive for us to get to, easy enough. So, stay tuned.
It's longer than Des Moines, the one that we're
very
looking
interesting.
at.
We're thinking about going to Sammy Callahan's show coming up here this month in just outside Des Moines, and I didn't realize it's closer than St. Louis. It was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. 3 hours and 12 minutes from my house, which is further south than his house, so it's under 3 hours from his house.
Absolutely. So, hey, we'll give you guys updates on that, and as we always say, support local wrestling. 25 bucks. Make it, fun evening. Support your independent wrestlers, guys.
You get to meet cool people like us, like the Triple B boys, Bird Girl, like the Lucha Chris. There's so many cool people that come to just Journey Pro, but there's gonna be like those people at your shows if you're not here locally. Support your local wrestling, guys. It goes a long way for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the wrestling community, the internet wrestling community can be a thing. Let's just put it that way,
Toxic.
But in person, in real life, the wrestling community is pretty beautiful from what I've seen. Especially you start going to some of these smaller shows and you start seeing the same people, and then different walks of life. Everybody gets together and has a grand old time in a coffee bar or a VFW or Shriners Hall, wherever. Support your local wrestling. So, more to come. Jamie, do you have anything else for us this evening?
I got nothing, guys.
All right, well, take us home then. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week. Stay tuned. Follow our Twitter as well. Like I said, we do have some interviews coming up here. We'll let you guys know ahead of time.
Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you are not down with Total Spotfest, I have 3 words for you. Get well, Ray.
Because that looked really fucking bad.
I was gonna do thank you for being a friend, but then that happened, so I felt like we need to go that way.
I mean, Ray's not dead though.
Exactly, but I mean,
you already said it. So, all right, guys, we'll see you next time.
Peace.